Nifong had requested a written report like 235 listing out all those results, would you have provided it to him?
Yes. If he had just asked for a final report, we would have provided this report.
And did Mr. Nifong ever request that you provide a report like Exhibit 235?
Yeah, he's asked the question several times.
Did Mr. Nifong ever request that you provide a report like Exhibit 235 listing the results of all the tests and examinations you had performed for this case?
No.
That's all the questions I have.
Dr. Meehan, start out towards the back. You've just asked a series of questions about a notice of discovery you received on December 13th, 2006.
You're asking me about that?
You were just asked questions about that, correct? That was Exhibit 229 you've got in front of you.
Yes.
All right. That discovery motion was filed December 13th, is that correct?
That's what it says on the top of it. I can't.
So it was filed December 13th. The hearing was scheduled for December 15th. You testified on December 15th.
Right.
So you had not much notice, but there was only a 2-day lapse between when the motion was filed and when the hearing occurred, correct?
Correct.
And as far as you can tell, Mr. Nifong got the motion to you almost as quickly as he received it.
I can't say when he got it.
You received it on the 13th.
I believe I got it on the afternoon of the 13th.
You had said that there was you felt there were some accusations that you had not included everything in the initial report.
Correct.
And you started to say something that's not the case. When Mr. Bronco was asking a question, you said, but that's not the case. What was that?
Maybe you could
did
read
you
it
say
back or
that?
something.
Didn't you just say that was not the case?
I don't remember. Can you have to read it back or something?
All right, well, let me ask you, rather than remembering what your testimony was, that was not the case, was it? How about defining what the case is?
I don't know. Yeah.
In your report, which is Exhibit 214.
That was not the case. I see what you're saying. You're right. It was not the case. We did not withhold anything. No,
right.
I'm sorry. I didn't know what you... I got you.
I was going to give you a chance to explain your answer, and you said that's not the case. What do you mean when you say that?
What I meant was we were not withholding any information.
How do you've got Exhibit 214, which is a report in front of you. Where on this report does it show that you're not withholding any information?
Well, if you go to the first page of so it says on page 5, individual DNA profiles of non-probative evidence specimens and suspect reference specimens are being retained at DSI pending notification of the client.
And in that language, you're referring to the unidentified DNA, is that correct?
That's correct. And it goes on then to say that there are 3 reference specimens that are consistent with DNA profiles. So in other words, this is saying this report has the matches that are consistent with one another, and the preceding sentences that there is additional information that we have, but it just doesn't match anything.
And the terminology used there, non-probative evidence. Who came up with that terminology?
I came up with that terminology. As I've already stated, that was not the best choice of words. It was the word that I chose to use at the time of drafting the report. And it had no intention of reflecting upon the court or either any of the lawyers in the case as to what they should consider probative. At that point in time when I drafted the report, in my mind it had a focus of identifying the matches that were discovered to date, and these other profiles that don't match anything, I classified them as non-probative. It's a poor choice of words, and I shouldn't have used it.
And in your language, the language you used in this report was consistent with industry standards, is that correct?
Well, with the exception of the way I use the word non-probative.
In other words, it's industry standards. It's consistent in your industry to be able to use this terminology to indicate there are other DNA items out there that you were not able to identify.
Yes.
And if someone else who is familiar with, someone else who is a geneticist, much like yourself, or a forensic geneticist, would see this report and understand that was the case. Correct?
Objection.
Well,
To the best of his knowledge. If it's
You
consistent.
can answer that.
I don't think it would take a geneticist. I would think that, and it was my intention in that sentence, that all of you are very bright, and you read documents all the time, and it was actually a surprise to me that nobody reacted to it, to say, hey, and if I remember, this document doesn't have it, was bolded and underlined, that said, there's other DNA profiles here that are not on this report. Right? And to be able to read that, go through this report and understand what it says and not see that, I have to take the blame. It was my report, and I didn't do my job, and I expected maybe too much. But I'm surprised that a lawyer reading the report or a councilman would not see that and say, hey, what is he talking about? What other word?
Now, when you say